What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with the news here on TaiwanPlus. Some of the biggest names in tech are in Taipei for Computex, one of the world's most important annual electronics shows. More than 50,000 international and domestic buyers are expected to attend the week-long expo. And appearances from celebrity CEOs like Nvidia's Jensen Huang are causing quite a stir here in Taiwan. We'll have more on that later, but first, our reporter Joyce Zeng reports from the expo's opening keynote speech.
We're at the main hall of Computex, a major consumer electronics show hosted annually here in Taipei. It's a day before expo doors open, but as you can see, the venue is already full of people. Now, earlier, over 1,500 people came to see Dr. Lisa Su, the Taiwan-born chair and CEO of AMD, a California semiconductor firm which competes with the likes of Intel, Nvidia, and Qualcomm. Su is this year's opening keynote speaker, kicking off a four-day lineup of top tech execs, including Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger and Vice Chair from MediaTek Rick Tsai. Tech leaders are calling 2024 the start of the AI personal computer era, or AIPC, which was at the heart of Su's speech.
And we're at the beginning of an incredibly exciting time for the industry as AI transforms virtually every business, improves our quality of life, and reshapes every part of the computing market. With the rapid innovation around AI and all of the new technology everywhere, it is actually the biggest and the most important Computex ever.
Su went on to announce the company's Ryzen AI 300 series, codenamed Strix Point, which gives computers the key ability to run AI locally. Su was also joined on stage by her firm's partners Microsoft, HP, Lenovo, and Asus to reveal first looks at some brand new laptops with the third-gen AI chips inside. Industry leaders are banking on these devices to unlock new possibilities for both personal and business productivity. Now, whether that's getting AI to dig up old photos buried in your laptop or having AI help doctors with more precise medical imaging, innovators like Su say this is just the beginning of what it looks like to integrate what humans and machines each do best. Joseph Wu and Joyce Zhen in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Also in Taiwan for Computex, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang went to National Taiwan University to share his company's vision for the future of AI. And as Chris Gorn reports, he's placing big bets on the country.
Great to be in Taiwan. Before I head out to the night market, let's dive into some exciting frontiers of digital humans.
From digital humans acting as nurses to digital replicas of the Earth itself, AI is coming to every facet of life. That was at the core of Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang's keynote address at National Taiwan University. It was the first of the major company keynotes here in Taiwan linked to Computex, one of the largest computer expos in the world. And Huang emphasized the importance of Taiwan to his company and to the AI industry.
Taiwan and our partnership has created the world's AI infrastructure.
The CEO announced a new AI chip platform known as Rubin to be released in 2026. That comes less than 3 months after the announcement of their upcoming Blackwell series, which hasn't even shipped yet. But aside from product announcements and tech demos, Jensen himself is proving to be a big draw.
In Taiwan, Jensen Huang is a household name. Born in the southern city of Tainan, raised in the United States, he now runs the world's third most valuable company at $2.7 trillion US. And people here say they're excited to hear from him.
现场是震撼感更多一点，就是振奋人心吗？因为这是台湾自己的东西，之后放了出来之后，感受更深了一点。
I got a chance to hear, so that would be very exciting. But I know like Nvidia is a very great cooperation for me, and I always like Jensen Huang, so it was a very great chance for me.
I think he said it really nice. He made some promises. He had really strong evidence with his research, and he proved it while he was speaking. I really hope that I can get a job in Nvidia. It's going to be really good.
Few corporate figures have garnered the kind of celebrity status that Huang has in Taiwan. Since he arrived in Taiwan, Google searches for Huang and Nvidia both far outnumber searches for Chinese military exercises or the recent political protests that drew hundreds of thousands across the country. And the fondness seems to go both ways. Jensen has called Taiwan one of the most important countries in the world, citing its key role in electronics manufacturing. Nvidia is building a $750 million AI research and development center in Taiwan, and Huang says it plans to invest even more here, a sign of just how important Taiwan is to one of the world's biggest tech firms. Leon Lien, Joyce Tseng, and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
The Constitutional Court has struck down a rule requiring women to be at least 160 centimeters tall to become a firefighter. The court found that based on average heights, the rule excludes 55% of women, compared to just 10% of men who don't meet their minimum of 165 centimeters. The decision does not mean an end to height requirements altogether, nor to separate rules for men and women. The court said that both are legitimately in the public interest for practical reasons. To find out more about what the Constitutional Court's ruling means for fire departments here, John Van Trieste spoke to fire agency official Hsiao-wen.
Many countries don't have any height requirements for firefighters at all. So why does Taiwan feel they're necessary?
比如说消防人员他在执行救灾勤务的时候，需要操作一些大型的器具或者消防车辆，因为消防车辆跟一般的车辆也不太一样，所以我们从之前从最早到现在，一般的工作经验，我们认定消防人员他如果身高有一定的限制会对我们任务的一些遂行是有注意的。
Could you tell us about what, in practice, this constitutional interpretation means for firefighters?
因为再来6月就会有我们这个特考的考试，然后也会有碰到同样的问题，所以我相信考选单位他可能会针对今年的6月、8月的这个考试可能就会做一个讨论，到底要不要调整这样子。
Overall, what effect would you say this court ruling is going to have on the firefighting force across Taiwan?
我们也希望说，透过我们的训练，透过他们考完试之后的训练，这边来强化不管是男生或者女生的这个消防员的他的一个需要从事消防员的需要的一些体力。那我们有研究出一套这个消防战术体能这个训练课程。我们希望说从这个训练端去强化未来消防人员的一些体能必要的一个体能条件。
Once again, that was National Fire Agency official Xie Ziqiang speaking to John Van Trieste. The country's fleet of C-130 military planes is set to be upgraded starting next year. The upgrades will include better GPS and advanced systems for maritime search and rescue. The improvements will cost around $30 million. Taiwan has 20 C-130 aircraft, which are used to carry equipment and personnel around the country. The C-130 has been in service with Taiwan's Air Force since 1986. Taiwan's premier has promised to back the country's Coast Guard. Zhou Rongtai was a guest of honor at a ceremonial inspection of the Coast Guard's fleet. As Rick Laut reports, it comes as Taiwan works to bolster its defenses to ward off threats from China.
Here at the largest port on Taiwan's north coast, the country's premier is offering his support of the Coast Guard ahead of the National Dragon Boat Festival. It comes as the Coast Guard finds itself on the front lines of rising aggression from China. China has been launching Coast Guard boats, military vessels and fishing ships around Taiwan's waters, part of intimidation tactics against a country it claims as part of its sovereign territory. And it's Taiwan's Coast Guard that is tasked with confronting and chasing off these vessels.
那么在国家安全海上的第一线，如果没有你们在海域上这么辛苦去维护各个的安全，那国家的安全问题更加的重要。
As part of efforts to bolster national defense, Taiwan is spending more than $1 billion to build about 150 Coast Guard ships and add them to its fleet. One of those vessels was officially launched over the weekend. Taiwan leaders here are promising to give the Coast Guard what it needs to do its job. Welcome commitments for a fleet on the front line of Taiwan's sovereignty and in increasingly choppy waters. Alex Chen and Rick Laut in New Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy made a surprise appearance on the last day of the annual Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. He called on the world's leaders to support his country's defense against Russia. But as Jaime Ocon reports, Many here in Asia are more concerned that a war could break out closer to home.
A surprise visit by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to the world's largest security summit, the Shangri-La Dialogue. The annual three-day meeting in Singapore sees dozens of security officials and analysts gather to exchange ideas on how to prevent conflict. That's why a rare appearance from Zelenskyy, who is currently leading Ukraine's defense against Russia's invasion, caught the attention of many people here.
Diplomacy should be those caring and strong hands that prevent international disputes from turning into fights, restraining the most aggressive parties. This is how diplomacy often worked in the past. But frankly, the last few decades have not been a time for diplomacy.
For more than 2 years, Russia has been attacking Ukraine. And while many countries have sent military assistance there are concerns a conflict might also break out in Asia. In recent months, China has increased military operations in the region, blasting water cannons at Philippine ships in the South China Sea and conducting large-scale exercises in the Taiwan Strait. It's these kinds of actions that are leading other countries like the US to call for dialogue.
War or a fight with China is neither imminent, in my view, or unavoidable. So leaders of great power nations need to continue to work together to ensure that we're doing things to reduce the opportunities for miscalculation.
On the sidelines of the summit, defense chiefs from the US and China met in person for the first time since 2022. The goal of the talks was to establish communication lines between the world's two largest superpowers to avoid a crisis. But China says the US arms sales and assistance to Taiwan, which Beijing sees as part of its own, is a major obstacle.
中国依法处置涉台事务，完全是中国的内政，外部势力无权干涉。
Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council responded by saying that Beijing repeatedly threatens Taiwan with force during international events. China and the US have agreed to continue working toward a communication line, but nothing concrete is planned. And this lack of clear communication is worrying some countries in Asia as they grapple with increased tensions in the South China Sea, around Taiwan, and around the Korean Peninsula.
A lot of Taiwan comes into play, but we also need to think about the possibility of conflict with the Philippines and China. But then, North Korea, there's a lot of discussion about why North Korea is doing what it's doing right now. So there's multiple different avenues that you could think about this. I think there is a growing threat perception, but there's also a growing sense of let's look at ways that we don't get to conflicts.
The Shangri-La Dialogue is a unique opportunity for countries to deter conflict. But with Ukraine already struggling with war in Europe, the goal now is to prevent war in Asia. Huang and Hsiao-wen for TaiwanPlus.
North Korea says it will stop sending trash-filled balloons across the border into South Korea. Pyongyang says it sent 15 tons of garbage to its neighbor in response to propaganda sent from Seoul. While the balloons have stopped for now, the North says they will start again if anti-North Korea leaflets continue being sent across the border. In sports news, Taiwan's top boxer Huang Hsiao-wen has punched her ticket to the Summer Games in Paris. She secured her spot after defeating Bojana Gokcevic of Montenegro at a qualification tournament in Bangkok over the weekend. This will be Huang's second time competing in the Summer Games. At the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, she won bronze, becoming the first Taiwanese to secure a medal in that sport. This year, she will be competing alongside 5 other Taiwanese boxers. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out Vincent van Gogh's famous painting, Starry Night over the Rhone. It's back in southern France for the first time in over a century. I'm Eric Gao. Take care. We'll see you next time.